Do you really feel like social media was a mistake? I absolutely fucking do. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Things My Friends Say I Shouldn't Be Doing, the podcast where spirals get screen time, bad decisions get brand deals, and if we're going to go down, at least it'll be entertaining. I'm Danny, your host, your chaos architect, your LinkedIn raccoon with Wi-Fi. You know, my therapist says this is a podcast, but I call it exposure therapy with a microphone. And today, oh babes, we've got a guest who proves that you can reinvent yourself mid-career arc and still sneak in WrestleMania metaphors that nobody asked for. He's the sparkle to my sparkle, the SharePoint saint himself, Mr. Chris Centifonti. Is that how it's pronounced?
Centifonti. Yep, that's right.
Perfect. I didn't even have to Google it. And that's staying in the show.
Awesome.
So Chris, welcome. You're here. You showed up. You didn't cancel on me this time, which is already iconic. You know, the last time I had a guy cancel 4 times on me for a date, I ended up dating his best friend for a couple of years. For those that are,
I was up to 4.
Yeah, today's number 4.
Number 4. Oh my gosh.
It's okay. It happens. For those listening, Chris is known for posting like he's 6'5", even though he's 5'8", showing up on LinkedIn like it's WrestleMania, and being brave enough to admit he only has 4 emojis in his rotation. Chris, before we dive in, let's go ahead and play a lightning round. You ready?
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
What's the worst LinkedIn emoji crime that you've committed?
The worst one, I would say, is when I first started posting, I think I was using the rocket because I was kind of looking at others, trying to see, what other people were using. I would say either the rocket or, as I've learned firsthand, the emoji as bullet list. That's another one that I've seen people do. But then I saw some posts saying that it wasn't accessibility friendly, so I tried to get that one out of my tool set.
Yeah. So you got hit with the rocket ship emoji from the AI land in the beginning. You were like, everybody's using rockets. Maybe I should use rockets. When I first started on LinkedIn and I noticed all of the rockets, I'm not a big rocket emoji fan to begin with. But I noticed all of them. I was like, why is everybody using so many rocket emojis? And that's when I started using the sparkle emoji instead, because I was like, nope, we're going to be different. And I think it was like a week or 2 later is when somebody was like, here's 90 ways I know that your post is AI. And like every single one had a rocket emoji.
Yeah, no, that sounds right. I was using AI when I first got started. In fact, part of me starting to write was to try to get comfortable with AI. And then, the irony is you go from, or at least in my case, write with AI to AI maybe gives you a little bit of support to minimal. Like, it's funny, what I thought was going to be teaching me to use it more actually taught me to use it less.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that like if you utilize AI, more power to you. I don't get the whole like I'm gonna put you on put your head on a spike and do like a witch trial because you utilized AI. I use AI. I will firmly admit I use AI. I use it for brainstorming. I use it for content planning. I planned out an entire 18 months worth of a social media story arc utilizing AI. Now, of course, that does come with my own ideas as well. But to help keep myself organized, I use AI all the time. Does it write for me? No. Could it? At this point, probably. I've written so much inside of AI that it could probably pump something out that sounds exactly like me. But I don't get why people are so adamant on throwing people down for utilizing AI to write. My theory is the content relevant? Is the content educational, entertaining? Does it serve its purpose? If the answer is yes, who cares how it was written?
No, that makes sense to me. Actually, it's funny. I had one post, it might almost be a year ago now. So as you kind of said in my intro, I do a lot of like storytelling or metaphors using the stuff that interests me. So, there's a lot of Marvel, a lot of pro wrestling, a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm finding I don't always use it, but when I do, that one kind of connects to people. But I had this one entry, and it was SharePoint has a feature called banners. Like you put a banner across a page, and they just added something where you could drag and drop like your own banners in. So
Right.
I wanted to do a Hulk themed post, kind of leading to the joke that, you know, you can have big banners, you can have puny banners. And it was funny because that was one where I was working with ChatGPT on it. And it was funny because I think the idea of that joke was a little abstract for it. Because,
Right, because isn't his last name Banner?
yes, sorry for
Okay,
those
sorry.
that
I'm
don't
a Marvel fan through proxy, if that makes
know.
sense. Like I will watch the movies, but to this day, and Josh is gonna kill me for saying this, I have yet found anybody that's willing to watch all of those movies from start to finish in chronological order. Cause like I'm a
Okay.
dork. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch like the Winter Wars before I watch whatever comes before it, right? And that's just a large amount of films to sit down and set up a time for, especially for people that don't have enough time to watch TV to begin with. Like I'm not a TV person.
Hmm.
I tell people that and they get all weirded out. They're like, wait, but you're like a walking pop culture reference. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm chronically online.
Yeah,
All of my screen time is my computer. I hate TV.
absolutely.
Yeah, TV's gross. I'm like, is it a series like Game of Thrones or is it a series like Stranger Things? Something like that. Like, yes, I'll watch. Um, but just like your regular, like, let's sit down and watch Family Guy kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of those these days. You're right, like the week in, week out.
Yeah.
I like, it's funny, although kind of going with what you're saying about Stranger Things, like I'm just thinking like the one show I've been watching lately is Only Murders in the Building.
I
That's
heard
the one
that's
with
good.
Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez.
Yeah, I heard that's really good.
But that's like, you're right, it's like it's a weekly show, maybe it does like 9, 10 episodes, and then it goes away for like a year. So it's kind of
Yeah.
got that, like, I don't want to call it event TV, but like you're saying, as opposed to something like uh Abbott Elementary. Again, very good
Yeah.
show, but that's the, it starts in the fall, ends in the
Ends in
spring. You're right,
spring. It's weekly for six
yeah,
months, and you're like, I have a life.
you can
I
skip
don't
a
know
show,
how
you
we
can come back. Yeah.
I don't know how we did it back in like the 90s and stuff when like we didn't have streaming services
Mhm.
and you had to like I was a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like I remember when I got my first job because I had never missed an episode that I started like setting up the VCR to record it for me when I would
Okay.
get
Yeah.
home so that I wouldn't miss it. Only missed one episode to date.
Yeah.
I did end up catching it. It was the musical episode. I had to work that
Oh.
night. My brother purposely recorded over it before I got home.
Oh, that's low. Because yeah, once
Y-
more with feeling was
Yeah, yeah. I
one
did
of the
end up
all-time greats.
finally seeing it, but like that's an episode that you didn't want to be the only episode you missed in the season.
Exactly.
I'm actually super excited about the fact that they're bringing that back, and I am not a big fan of like let's beat a dead horse and bring something back from your childhood and sell you nostalgia. But I've seen a lot of Sarah Michelle Gellar's interviews in regards to whether or not she would ever reprise the role of Buffy, and she was like very adamant that like she will never do it unless it makes sense.
Mm.
So hopefully bitch is keeping her word, because if I see this first episode and I'm like, this don't make no fucking sense, I'm gonna be mad.
Is she going to be Buffy Summers again, or is it like
Yeah,
okay, it's not like a
yeah.
reboot, like here's
So
a new girl,
it's
here's a whole
no.
new.
So they're
Okay.
doing it like it's kind of both. So they're
Mm.
bringing her back, but it seems from what I'm seeing that she's going to be more in like a Giles role as like the mentor
Nice. Okay, that
to a
makes
new
sense.
girl. Because when they ended that series, where basically all of the girls that had the potential to be a Slayer became a Slayer.
Right, I remember
Um,
that.
and so like yeah, technically I'm sure we'll see her get into some action scenes, but I don't think she's going to be the main star of the show. I think she's going to be more of like a mentor,
Sure.
which
That makes.
works for me. Um, I love how one lightning round question just diverted us into quite a little banter there. Let's see.
That's talking to me in general. Yeah.
Our next question for the lightning round, which is more cursed, your Renaissance Fair season or your WWE week themed posts?
Oh, that is an interesting one. I'm gonna go with the WWE one.
Okay.
So yeah, so some background for me, because I put in the form. one funny story about me is that, and if anybody's doing that, two truths and a lie, I think this is the one that nobody has responded to at this time, one way or another. Um, that yeah, I was in a Renaissance fair for exactly one season.
Nice.
I had friends that did it. It was the second season. I think this was 2011. So I had had some friends already join. And I ended up playing. I mean, I was a kid in his 20s. I wanted to be some sort of cool knight or something. I was the horse trader. Um, but yeah, so I was a horse salesman, which probably would have been fine, except for the fact that because I had friends who had done the first year, they were it was King Arthur themed. They were Merlin and Sir. Oh gosh, I forget one of the main knights, not Lancelot. One of the other, maybe Percival or something. But yeah, so it's kind of like, hey, we're gonna go over here and practice our sword fights and our dialogue, and you here's what people, like go read a thing about what peasants lived like and practice bowing. But no, it was more good than bad. I don't look back on it negatively. I mean, it was something that happened in me, or something I did. I learned from it, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe I got a little bit of confidence or presence or something from it.
Well,
Uh,
that's good.
yeah, and then the wrestling ones. Yeah, like I said, it's funny. Every April, because that's when the big pay-per-view WrestleMania happens, I usually try to throw in at least one wrestling themed post a year.
Yeah.
And it just I could throw in all the I think this year's was how to hide parts on a web page from certain audiences. So like if you're the admin, you can see, the I don't know, maybe there's like a text box or a library that only you can see. So I mean, it's a little bit of a low hanging fruit, but it was the John Cena "You Can't See Me" was the theme of the
Right.
post.
Right. Well, listen, anybody that can tie those kind of like abstract ideas to what they do, that's a skill. Like it's taken me years to be like, okay, so how do I tie this joke to what I do? Like that's not something that people are just able to pull out of thin air. So that's a good skill to have. And I would continue doing it. It takes a while for things like that to take off sometimes. So let's finish this one up with if LinkedIn gave you a wrestling name, what would it be? Because mine would be Algorithm Daddy.
Algorithm Daddy. Let's see. I feel like Oh man. I feel like part of the joke would be that on a meta level, I feel like the joke is that it wouldn't give me a name. It would be like give you a little again, just to go into the world of wrestling for a minute. When you watch a show, especially if you watch them over and over, you can kind of tell where somebody is in the pecking order. So I don't know if you
Right.
ever heard of the phrase jobber. I think sometimes people
Hmm.
use jabroni because of The Rock. You have like your jobbers, your mid-carders, and your stars. And I would say I'm maybe hitting mid Carter. I mean, so like, I feel like one of the jokes that was going through my head and changing the metaphor a little bit is I feel like I'm like one of those characters when you watch maybe not the Marvel movies, but the X-Men movies, and there's like a guy who, if you read the comics, you're like, oh my gosh, that's Axe Face, and you're like,
Right.
"Who's Axe Face?" And the guy runs up and he hits a door with his face and breaks the door. And like, the people who don't read comics are like,
Yeah,
"Who
like you've got to
was
be
that?"
real, you got to be real deep in the lore to get
Yeah,
that reference.
I feel like I'm there. So
Your axe face. All right, so let's talk about the origin story.
okay.
So you worked at the same company for about 15 years, and then in a giant plot twist, complete leadership chaos, somebody literally burst into the room to announce that was it the CEO or the CIO?
It was the CIO.
So the chief intelligence officer just posted about the grounds on LinkedIn. Like it was the fucking moon landing.
Yeah, I remember I was helping a guy. So this was 2022 or 2023. It was pretty recent. We had all got home from COVID. We were back in like a hybrid capacity. Right. And this guy wanted to ask me, he wanted to set up something in SharePoint. So I go to his office and yeah, somebody bursts in the room. And I remember because in my head, it's funny, it caused that same like, I don't know what to call it, like trigger or emotional like response. Like I thought he was about to tell us something like world news happened. Like I thought like a major event. The way the guy
Right.
came
You were
in.
like full flight or fight
Yeah,
mode, thinking like what happened last week. Like
Yeah,
you're
like
waiting
not
for
even.
another world
Yeah,
event tragedy, just like a bomb exploded
yeah,
off the coast of Africa type stuff, and it's
yeah.
just, hey, the CEIO posted on
It's
LinkedIn.
about the grounds. Yeah, and it was. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, the writing was fine. I'm not. I don't want to like knock the guy in any way. I mean, again, we were in that hybrid state. I feel like it was, kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like our campus is so nice. You should see it
Right.
more. Like, but
Yeah. I mean, and I
yeah,
guess given the time frame too, like just right after COVID, when we're starting to kind of try to reintegrate back into the real world, that is something that a lot of people probably did, and taking pictures of their campuses or their work environments and being like, hey, do you remember this office that you hated? You should come back to it. I don't know. For me, this feels like the moment where every millennial is listening and is just like, yep, I was too young until suddenly I was too old. And then it happened
yes,
overnight. Like
yes.
when I tell my friends that I'm a LinkedIn influencer and that I'm ranked in the top 12% in the world for LinkedIn, they're like, so you really didn't ever get a life. And then I'm like, you know what, you guys, fuck you. I'm gonna stop playing with y'all on Facebook. I'm gonna go back to LinkedIn. They like me better. Because like I've been on Facebook since like I was a kid, right? I have more followers on LinkedIn in 9 months than I've gained on Facebook in like 15 years.
Yes, I'm the same way. I had a Twitter. I've since deleted it, but I had that for about 10 years. I don't think I have like 200 followers on Twitter.
I'm gonna lose clients for this. I don't do Twitter, and I hated Twitter before Elon took it. I will never work on Twitter.
No, I'm with you. And then Facebook, I'm like in the hundreds, I would say. But again, most of those are
I'm in the
maybe a
thousands there,
few.
but
Yeah,
like
they're all real
most.
life connections.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
most of them are real life connections. This week, since I started pushing more video content, so it's funny. Like I started on LinkedIn in January. I changed my Facebook to a professional profile in January, and I started
Mm.
posting on both. Like crickets almost all year long on Facebook. Every now and then, like I'd get a penny like from Aunt Linda on like a company post type deal. But unless it was a joke or something funny or just like a reshare of a reel of like, because like that's the other thing about my Facebook. My Facebook is more me than my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is professional me. No offense, I'm a person. I'm gonna say, yeah, I can get that to you by 5 p.m. But fuck me, Bob. Are you serious?
No, I get
Um,
it.
but my Facebook is so much more me because it's like, oh, here's this meme that I saw at 3 o'clock in the morning that made me piss myself laughing. Um, and I think that more people that work in the influencer space need to do that and show more of like who they are besides just what they do, right? Like what makes you laugh, what makes you tick, what makes you have emotions. But like, yeah, my Facebook crickets all year. Started doing the videos last week for LinkedIn. I was like, fuck it, we'll put them on Facebook too. Facebook is up to like 18, 19,000 reach. And then LinkedIn was like crickets on video until I made that you up post where I showed my analytics tanking. And I was like, you up because I believed LinkedIn about video content being pushed more. That's the joke. It's me. I'm the joke. And made that. And then yesterday, I literally went, I think it was like 461.1% increase in
Wow.
reach, which I knew that making a joke about LinkedIn and tagging LinkedIn was going to pull more reach and bring my numbers back up. I've been in this game long enough. I know how to game the system to bring the numbers back up. Now the game plan is let me mix together those videos, but then still keep my written content. Because if I went full video on LinkedIn, it'll be a
Yeah.
ghost town. Um,
Quick
so
question about that. I'm just
yeah.
curious because when you say the videos, I've seen your videos. Like I've seen the ones you walk, you do the walks and like you said, the U up. Um, I don't know, maybe you need gold for this, but like there's the band. I don't know what to call it. Like I scroll LinkedIn and then I get
Oh,
because
oh,
I feel like the joke is like there's 4 topics, there's 5 videos per topic. That's LinkedIn video. Like
yeah.
Natalie made this joke 6 months ago, or
I
will
don't.
these two besties get the cup of coffee? Spoiler alert,
Yeah,
get the cup
yeah.
of
I
coffee.
don't know if that's only on premium where you get those
Like
because
what
I've
is the
noticed.
topic? Because if you could get the topic, maybe you could make that level. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm at this point. I'm like, you know what? Video is just extra fun to get
Mm,
over the fear of being on camera. Because moving into 2026, I'm going to be on camera a lot more. Like my coaching practice is starting to move towards that group coaching, video trainings, things like that. So it's like, I've got to get over the fear of being on camera because I know how to do all this stuff. I've done it for several people several times over. Some of my clients have made 7-8 figures in coaching. So I know how to do it. I just got to get over the fucking fear of people being able to see me. Cause like I have no problem with like what we're doing right now. Like I can see you, you can see me. It's when
Yep.
I can't see them on the other side of the screen and I'm like, is there a weirdo over there trying to figure out what I'm doing, like where I live? Like they're looking in the corner of the window and to try to find a stop
The tree
sign.
in his background is native only too.
Well, I mean, because I've also seen that scary side of things. I've
Yeah.
had clients get completely doxxed,
Um,
and that's scary. Like they've got like young kids
yeah.
and stuff like that, and it's like I don't want to get to that point. That's one of the reasons. Like I was talking with I don't like to name names, especially when it's private conversations, and
Yeah.
they were like, "You need to just get over it. Like, push. You've got that star quality. You could be 10 times above this person, this person, this person, and this person." But you have to actually do it. And I was like, that's the thing, girl. Like, I don't want to do it right now. I'm cool with this being slow and steady and people coming into my realm and being like, oh, Danny seems cool. Let me connect with him. I haven't sent out a connection request in months. The
Wow.
last time I was steadily sending out connection requests was March. I was sending out connection requests anytime I connected with somebody in like the comments. I'd like, do a little
Yeah.
one-liner back and forth, hit connect. Like, heavy connecting with people. And then I got that homophobic hatred person come in and make
Right, I've been hearing
all
about
kinds of negative comments on one particular post. And I was like, you know what? It takes one bad egg to spoil it. We're no longer an open gate. We're no longer going to just click connect with everybody. And I got a little bit more intentional about how I show up, and I'm still listed for exceptional growth. So I'm not really worried about it. But yeah, like if I went back to connecting on a regular basis like that, I'd probably be up in the 3,000s.
Wow.
It's not what I'm here for. I'm here
Yeah.
for things like this conversation, the coffee chats. I prefer filming the podcast, having 30-minute coffee chats with strangers over posting content any day. I love making content and I love posting content. But if I were to sit down and go, what parts of this right now that I'm doing do I absolutely want to keep? It's going to be the connecting with people on camera. Um, the connecting with people through texting and like writing content. I'm good at it, but it doesn't give me the same feeling as like sitting down with somebody for an hour and a half and getting to know them and them getting to know me and walking away from that conversation and being like, huh, I actually learned something from Chris. You don't get that when you post online. Occasionally, you might get somebody that leaves like a really good comment that teaches you something. But I don't know. Most of my comments are a lot of like, "Wow, thanks for saying that." Like I've been feeling this way too, which I love. That's great validation for me. But I do enjoy this because I just take so much more away from the conversations than I do with creating content.
Yeah, no, I get that. And actually, to tie into something that you've said before, um, I do a pretty good job if it's like reasonably, approachable, or I don't know, like relatable, or I can get likes, but kind of going off something you said before, about being a billboard. I admit that I'm still kind of in that billboard phase. Like I've done I don't know, the cringy, like they just say throw that hook in at the end, but it just seems a little too obvious to me. Like if I was like, hey, I'm using this type of column in SharePoint, blah, 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 to just have the last paragraph always be, have you used this column in SharePoint? Like that.
Nothing screams chat GPT more. And I
Yeah.
hate to be like that person that ends it with a question. And I'm the kind of person that loves ending a post with a question sometimes because like, especially back in the day before AI really took off, like that
Yeah.
was your engagement bait.
Hmm.
Ask them a question or make a controversial statement or have incorrect information. I can't remember the exact psychological theory that it's called. But basically, like the best way to garner engagement and
Oh
comments on
yeah.
a post is to get online and post an incorrect opinion very confidently.
And then everybody will just run in
And
the
then
comments.
everybody they can't help it. It's like flies to shit. They're gravitating towards it because they have to correct you. Again, another reason why we see when things like what happened last week happen, the internet rips itself apart because they just can't help it.
Yeah.
We'll leave that for another topic. Maybe season 2 we'll talk about why the internet rips itself apart anytime something happens.
Yeah, no, I get that. I've been there. But yeah, I know what you're saying though. Yeah, and I've even seen that done as a joke. Like someone said, like the fastest way to get advice on Reddit isn't to ask a question, right? It's to just post the wrong answer and then have everybody run in and yell, actually, it's this.
Well, actually, which reminds me, where does a mansplainer get his water?
Oh, I know that one from
From a
well,
well, actually.
Paul doesn't
Oh,
know.
that's funny. That is hilarious. So let's get back onto track.
Are we
We
still
were
in the
talking.
lightning round, by the way? The world's
No,
slowest
we
lightning
started
round?
talking about the world's slowest lightning round. We started talking about your CIO that posted on LinkedIn, and then we kind of bantered off. So that was when you started posting on LinkedIn, then, correct?
Yeah, that was kind of what got me into it. And then there was one other officer, I would say, at the company, like who was like a lady, a little bit on the like she was newer, I'll put it that way. And I could see how, yeah, it kind of helped you control like the narrative to a bit. Like it made it seem like she was really someone moving and shaking more than somebody who kind of wasn't putting out that communication, or maybe just to their department or their division.
Right.
So yeah, that was kind of what got me into it. Plus, at the time, I had a very visible project. It was like our yearly charity drive. So that
Okay.
was a really good opening hook because I actually built, and I love to bring this up in like work interviews too. We had a charity auction, and we again we were trying to build something that could be done remotely or anybody could do. So I actually built like an in-house eBay basically.
Okay.
What's called Microsoft Power Apps and some of the tools associated with it. But yeah, it was just like the pictures were sitting in a library and they had those data fields. So, maybe it was like, I see you're wearing that Nick Power shirt, by the way, because I feel like if we don't invoke him once an episode, like, I don't know, maybe we get fined or something. But anyway,
He's like an un He's like an unofficial producer of the show. I feel so like the sponsors slash producers of things my friends say I shouldn't be doing at this point, because they've popped up on almost every single episode, would be Nick Power and AI.
yeah, I mean,
So
I'm
if you're
caught
looking
up.
for the trend of 2025 on LinkedIn, it's AI and Nick
Yeah,
Power.
agreed.
Which brings me to a really good segue.
Yeah.
Let's talk weird LinkedIn. Let's talk about
Yes.
cringe WrestleMania week posts that flop, niche gaming analogies that nobody gets. Um, I think some people need to realize like cringe is online currency, and if you're not cringing, you're not trying. So tell me about your experiences with weird LinkedIn.
Okay, so I was trying to remember how I got into it, and I think it was I had somebody. So I was a couple months into my like posting journey, I guess you'd say,
Mhm.
and I got a follower, and I don't remember his name, but so I got a follower, made the mutual connection. He was a very meme oriented guy. And I actually ended up unfollowing him over some stuff. Again, we didn't have any sort of like real personal relationship, but he was and again, I feel like a lot of weird LinkedIn is like invoking almost like a D&D spell, but he was a big Brooke fan, if you're familiar with Brooke.
Okay. Yeah, of course. I
So
love.
it's one of those things. I follow her now too. Actually, I think it was like when I unfollowed him because he was originally. I would get her post because it would be like, Bob liked what Brooke wrote today. So after I lost Bob, I was like, I should keep the Brooke stuff. I'll follow her. But anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I think I was
I
getting some of the stuff through her, and then people would tag like her in the like, when they were starting this whole, oh, it's called hashtag weird LinkedIn.
right.
And it was funny. I remember when I think one of the groups first started being created, I just kind of like there was a comment section, and I think I just casually was just like, I write weird stuff. Can I come?
I
Like,
write weird stuff. Can I come? Of
yeah, so
course.
it was like, yeah, and then that was kind of how I got pulled into the group. And then yeah, and then I'm just trying to think. I've made it, just a couple of friends, a couple of mutuals. I mean, I have you. I have a friend named Jason who I talk to every morning. He's my LinkedIn game accountability buddy, I guess you'd call him.
Oh, that's cool.
He got super into Zip in particular. So
Okay.
every morning we pretty much pass our scores back and forth.
Nice. So you
Um,
guys are playing the LinkedIn games together.
yeah, so we usually do. I usually complete. Well, I should say usually. I think I have the streaks on all of them. I try to complete all six every day, but in particular, he and I usually share Zip and we share Queens. Like I do the mini Sudoku, but I usually don't send that one to him. I think that's the newest one. Yeah.
You hear that, Dan Shapiro? At least two LinkedIn users are playing LinkedIn games.
Is that
I'm
a?
sure that's the COO of LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that at least two users are using those
I'm playing the
games.
game.
At
Although
least two.
it gives me
Uh,
because I was gonna say I know you do sometimes best or like your favorite LinkedIn thing and your least favorite. I think I just listened to the Max episode, I guess, and a little bit of behind the curtain. So I'm caught
yeah.
up on real world, but there's probably going to be stuff in between that I haven't heard yet. But had you asked me like what was one of my favorite things on LinkedIn, I was going to say when you get the picture of the brain and it says you are smarter than 99% of CEOs. That's
Oh yeah. I played one of the word games, I think it was, and I got it done so quick, right? Like I was like, this is so easy. Like you just gotta like
the big
move
one.
the
Yeah,
letters around. I
or
think it was like Queen something. Anyways, and it was like, you're smarter than 99.9% of CEOs on LinkedIn. And I was like, can I put this in my resume?
yeah, I think
Is
I
that
have a post
rude?
somewhere. I made that joke too. Yeah, of like how
Is
do
that
I?
rude? Like, but back to the weird LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I kind of got pulled into weird LinkedIn, and I don't want to say I got pulled into it. Like I just fell into it really. So when I started in January, like people like Brooke, I automatically connected to because I looked at their numbers and I was like, those are vanity metrics. These are just people. Doesn't matter that I've got two connections. I'm gonna send Brooke a connection request. Things like that. So by the time the weird LinkedIn stuff started to take off, I was at like 400 followers, connections, but a lot of them were the big names like
big ones. Yeah.
Brianna, Nick, Bill, just all these huge names that I kind of just got sucked into it with them.
I love and hate that I knew
Before I knew
exactly who
it,
all those were from just the first
before I
name.
knew it, people were talking about me like I was some kind of mini celebrity. It felt really
Yeah,
weird. Like March, April for me was like an identity crisis. I was like, I understand why people in Hollywood turn to drugs because people are starting to talk about me and this feels really weird. And I just kind of got like plastered like poster child across my face, you know? Um, and that's how me and Nick connected actually, because he started to really, really take off. And I reached out to him because I had taken off on Facebook years prior in groups where I managed a Facebook group that had 80,000 members in it. And people would just constantly message me like they knew me, like parasocial relationships. They're just like, oh, you're my best friend because you run this group that I love.
that was
And
the
so I
Sims group, right?
constantly, yeah, I constantly get messages. So when that started happening to Nick, I reached out to him and I was like, look, I know you probably got like 1,000 of these right now. So no hurry to get back to me. I just wanted to check in and make sure that you're okay. Like person to person, are you handling this? And we, talked for quite a little while back and forth. We've got plans to grab a cup of coffee at some point because we don't live too far from each other. But, he's a dad working in marketing with three kids. I'm a dad working marketing with three kids. We don't really have a lot of time.
No, I get it.
So
I
I
have
kind of got like
kids too, so I
sucked
mostly
into the
get
weird LinkedIn thing, and
yeah.
I enjoy weird LinkedIn being the wild west of engagement that it is. Um, I actually am not a part of the weird LinkedIn groups.
Oh,
Um, I was invited. I lurked around for a little bit, but I do believe that placing organizational walls and or hierarchies within weird
yes.
LinkedIn is how you dismantle it. That being said, shameless plug, Max Langley and I have actually decided to open our own community because I told him that if I was going to do a community, since community management is what I do, that if I was going to do a community for Weird LinkedIn or make a subsection of Weird LinkedIn communities, that I would have to be in complete control of how that is handled because I am a firm believer in everyone is equal and everyone belongs. And so there won't be any hierarchies of, oh, well, Chris is a part of the inner circle.
Mhm.
And in order to be a part of the inner circle, you've got to hit A, B, C, and D. Fuck that. You want to come into the party, come into the party. As long as you're nice to other people, you can stay. So I'm
Like that.
working on the tail ends of what our farmers only will be. Um, but at the current, it's going to be like a giant peer support group hub where, like, if you wanted to host a workshop on SharePoint, you could host a workshop on SharePoint for people to learn about SharePoint. I want it to be somewhere where every
Um,
member feels like they can reach out and go, "Hey, Danny, I'm working on this and I want to share it with people. Can I do so here?" Absolutely. Um, just more organized in regards to what are we talking about instead of just sharing memes. But then not having any kind of hierarchical systems or it crowds or cliques, which is something that I have noticed happening within the other communities of Weird LinkedIn, which is completely natural. That's not me saying anything like negative about them.
mhm.
But if you're not aware of those things and if you are not paying attention, then Chris and Danny and Nick are constantly talking to each other. Before you know it, Chris, Danny, and Nick are no longer a part of the community. They've broken off and they've started their own.
Yeah,
Again,
no.
nothing wrong with that, but those things can also happen in a very negative way as well, where it turns into Danny, Chris, and Nick are, talking negatively about people in Weird LinkedIn and propaganda, like propaganda, if you will, and
Yeah.
getting more people on board. Weird LinkedIn did see a surge of some negative feedback in the beginning from outsiders saying things like, that we weren't professional or that we were just like kind of dicking off and waiting for us to leave because we were blowing up everybody's news feed. Here we are 6 months later, we're still blowing up everybody's news feed. And I don't think this is going anywhere. Weird LinkedIn is not a trend, it's a movement.
I could see that. Yeah. And I really like what you were saying about the idea of, because I think one of the, I don't know what to call it, one of the lines or one of the rules, um, like, yeah, that everybody's welcome, of course, and that everybody, I would say, is like welcome to contribute. Like you were saying,
Yeah.
like the idea, like if it was a community where we were all sharing ideas, and I did want to do, yeah, maybe something SharePoint, and then I don't know, I'm thinking off the top of my head, if somebody else is a ServiceNow or a Salesforce kind of person, that right, it's not like, oh, like you said, you're not part of the inner circle. Like we're not gonna, let you do
Yeah.
your thing. Like
Yeah.
if you want to, if you want to make the effort, you are welcome, and we want people to be supportive, and that's, I think, really all you can ask. Like,
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm sitting at with the idea of creating a community or a group on LinkedIn is one of the things that I will tirelessly work on is making sure that it is equal, fair, and inclusive. Very minimal bar of entry. And then in regards to whether or not you can stay, also pretty minimal in regards to like policies. Everybody's an adult. I shouldn't have to tell you to be an adult. But because everybody's an adult, I don't have like a three strikes and you're out policy. Like if you messed up and you hurt somebody or you're being negative for the wrong reasons, because there you can give negative feedback and still be a
oh yeah,
positive person about it, right? Like y'all never learned the sandwich method in corporate. Say something nice, say something mean, say something nice. It's not hard. And I think online people tend to forget those pleasantries and those mechanisms, if you will. And they kind of go straight to either side of the extremes. Like they're either super duper nice or they're super duper mean. And there's no like balance of being an actual human, right? Like I could be pissed off at something and I'm not going to take it out on you. But behind a screen, for some reason, people can get pissed on something and take it out on anybody. I think we saw that last week. I lost a follower last week because of it, and I'm not going to lie, it kind of hurt my feelings a bit, because I am a huge advocate for the LGBTQ community. Like, of course, I'm a part of that community, but my closest friend is a trans woman, and so one of my followers actually unfollowed me because of the post that I made on September 11th following the Charlie Kirk assassination. And the only line in there that even really referenced him was, the part that scares me is that friends tell me I remind them of Kirk, not in viewpoints, we're opposite there, but in regards to being so outspoken and so passionate and vocal. And I've been ranked by sites that rank you for political influence. Like, I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum of Kirk. Somebody could say, hey, I don't like your viewpoints. I think you deserve to die. And that's basically all I was saying, was like, this is a real fucked up, scary situation for anybody that works in any kind of influential space.
Yeah.
You know?
No
And
one's
so
perfect,
that
truly.
person reached out to me in DMs, wrote a long, long DM. I responded back, crickets, never even saw it. And then they came onto my public post and made a comment. And I have a rule. You can keep things private if you would like, but as soon as you bring it public, I'm going to publicly address it. And so I did publicly address it and say, hey, I tried to say all of this in the DMs. You know, first and foremost, I respect your decision. You got to do what's best for you. But I do believe that you're misinterpreting this. And here's why. Still crickets. Do what's best for you then. But like, yeah, kind of bugged me a little bit, because it's like, we have reached a point in society where if you don't completely agree with somebody, they're the enemy.
The enemy, yeah. And
that's a dangerous place to be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That becomes a slippery slope of othering, where it's like, well, I don't really care that Chris is dying on the side of the road because he's got gray hair and I don't. You know, fuck that guy. You know, it's a slippery slope.
Listening at home, yes, the camera is on.
For the record, if I ever do go gray, I hope it looks like yours, because that looks great. Salt and pepper is good for a lot of people. I don't know if it'll look good on me, but maybe.
I started early, and it's just been kind of.
But yeah, to segue back into our conversation, like, I swear LinkedIn is just a hallway of conversations that nobody has to overhear.
Yeah, no, I
like
get that.
900 million people inside of this hallway. A couple of them are trying to sell crypto. There's a couple of them in LMMs, like, you want to buy these patches, babe? Remember when I called you a fat bitch in high school? I've got the product for you.
Oh my gosh, thankfully I don't get much in the way of crypto stuff, so that's good. But I agree with you. I think I even put on the intake form, I said, right, this is almost like the new water cooler, or like the phrase that, again, I feel like we've been hearing a lot in the past few years, of the conversations in the hallway. Like,
yeah,
I think LinkedIn filled a lot of that void, again, especially as remote work rose. It kind of, became that space, because you're right, without that, I don't know, with my old role, it was really a sweet spot of people already knew me, and there were more spaces to meet up. We had these things called business resource groups.
Okay.
And that was like, young, ambitious professionals, disability advocacy. They had ones for, racial groups, LGBTQ, women's groups. And I did make it a point to join just about all of them. Even if I was just there to be an observer, if it was a life experience I couldn't speak to, I could at least listen. And then in my case,
learn, yeah.
And to do tech support. I mean, again, maybe I can't speak to your experience, but I can help you build a Microsoft form to, help you get your event started. So I had that, and that was a great place to meet folks at the same company that maybe I wouldn't have crossed paths with in my day-to-day work. And my new role, or the company I'm at now, I just am hitting the 1 year mark. Probably by the time this comes out, I'll have hit the 1 year mark.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. The same thing, where I'm very tight in. I know the people. I had a project the project got axed. I was actually on furlough for a month already, and then started the new project. So I've been in that since the summer. But they have a group now. They just started one that's like a learning and development, I would call it, kind of group. Where again, same thing. I knew two of the names, but it's got maybe like, they're hoping it opens up, so it'll give me that same kind of opportunity within this new company.
Yeah.
And maybe that's kind of the space. Yeah, like I said, until then, yeah, LinkedIn kind of fills that space of the names I see all the time. Cause like I see you. There's a couple like I don't know, not jokers, but you know what I'm saying. There's a couple like like people who are more funny.
I call them
And
shit posters.
yeah, you're right. That's the internet slang now
I
that you
guess
mentioned.
that's the definition term
Yeah.
in the dictionary. But yeah, and so Max and I, you listened to that episode. We
Yeah.
had
Awesome.
a conversation both during our call, like the recorded portion, and offline about how much we kind of loathe the fact that like these heathens don't actually see anything unless we're fucking funny. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, Max, I could write like a dissertation, right? And there's so much value in it, and there's so much information, and like, and it's funny and it's witty and it's got all the bells and whistles, crickets. But I post you up. I just realized that jelly flip flops were a torture device, but I still wanted them. Next thing I know, I wake up to 5,000 fucking impressions.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I can't. So I've started doing like this mix of like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna incorporate some joke content in. So I at least throw out like one joke a day. And I call that warming up my algorithm. And that's usually the 3 o'clock in the morning post because it in my opinion, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I know on the other side of the world it's daytime for them. But if I'm sleeping and that joke comes out, I don't have to worry about it as much. I won't sit there and like overthink it.
Yeah.
Because there are some jokes that have like permanently just stayed in my draft folder. I recently, like
Mm.
this morning, I woke up to this, and I won't name names, but I woke up to a 5-paragraph essay in my DMs about how much this person enjoys remote work as a project and social media manager, listing all of their qualifications and ending with, I would love to connect further to explore how I can bring my energy, skills, and global experience to your team. I don't have a team.
So yeah,
This is a
what
one.
team?
This is a one-man show. What team? I got it. Where?
They just assume, I guess, because like, isn't it like every influencer who's like, oh, I've been working
I mean,
so hard baking
I
by
guess I
myself. Three
should.
assistants go bake the cake.
I guess I should take that as a compliment that like from the outside it looks like I've got a team behind me. But like I was just like, wow, that is the longest pitch slap I have ever gotten.
Oh yeah, I've only
You
had
know,
one or
like
two, thankfully, that
like a
weren't. Yeah.
full 5-paragraph essay. But now I need to do that. I think her name is pronounced Aberdeen.
Okay.
She's also big and influencing on LinkedIn. She's a social media manager as well. But every single month at the beginning of the month, she posts an employee of the month picture of herself with all of
Nice.
the other previous months on the wall being her.
That's awesome. I
And
love that.
that's how I feel when I get these kind of like 5-paragraph essays of like, I would really love to join your team. And I'm like, this is the team. Um, It actually reminds me, you know that meme where the guy and his girlfriend are laying in bed and he's like looking away and she's like looking over her shoulder. Like I bet he's thinking about other women.
And then
Josh and
nothing
I have
is related. Yeah.
Josh and I have plans to recreate that meme
Nice.
so that I can use it on LinkedIn because I was like, oh, I was like looking through memes and creating some, and he was like looking over my shoulder. He's like, what are you using that one for? And I was like, I was gonna do something like, oh, I bet he's thinking about like other guys. And then the thought bubble above me is just like, okay, so I've scheduled this for this time, and I've did this, and this, and like Q4 2028.
I love it.
You know, and he was like, well, wouldn't it make more sense if it was two guys in that bed because of who you are? And I was like, well, yeah, but they don't have that. And he's like, so then why don't we just make it? So
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Yeah,
now we're
build.
gonna recreate that meme so that I can use that for social content. But in your intake form, you did mention K-pop Demon Hunters, which, by the
Yes.
way, I am still kind of like on the outside sphere of it. Like I've heard the music, my kids love it. And I let my kids watch it because another parent friend of mine was like, no, no, it's fine. It's
Yeah,
completely child friendly. And I was like,
I
okay, great.
mean, yeah, your
Um,
kids are older than my kids, and
yeah,
my two have seen it, and I don't regret it.
my youngest is going to be 10.
Okay, yeah, but your youngest
Um,
is older than my oldest. I'll put it that way. I don't like to get too specific on them,
I don't
especially
miss
on
those
LinkedIn, but
days. You know, I do, but I don't. Like my Josh's best friend has a 1 year old and he's so cute. And like every time she comes over, I'm like, give me that baby.
yeah,
I'm
but
like,
yeah,
I'm stealing him. But like I don't miss those younger stages. Like I did 10 years of diapers and just like the Y stage 3 times in a row. Like by the time you got
yeah,
out of it with one, you were in it with another. I like where my kids are now, where I can talk to them like little people.
yes,
I've always kind of talked to them like little people. I never did the baby talk with my kids. Like my older relatives would be like, "Why do you talk to them like that?" And I'm like, "Because they're people. I'm not going to be like, oh,
yeah,
you're so cute.' I'm going to say you're cute
mhm,
because that's also how they're learning speech patterns. Do you want the kid to walk around
stuff like
school and be
that.
like 5 plus 5 is 10? You know?
But yeah,
But you had mentioned K-pop Demon Hunters as a
yes.
metaphor for reinvention, which, by the way, I absolutely love.
Yeah, I don't have the lyrics in front of me. I should know them off the top of my head because, like I said, my daughter is obsessed right now.
Yeah,
Like the big to do in her classroom is not just that all the girls want to be them, but trying to figure out who would be who.
who would be who? Because, yeah,
Like,
I feel like we really do need to unpack this because I need everybody listening to understand like we're living in a professional apocalypse
mhm,
and this is the lore drop, right?
yeah,
Like, I'm even kind of inspired by the music. I used Golden as the soundtrack for the first video that I posted.
nice.
I was like, this is a perfect song choice for the first video when we're talking about getting over the fear of being on video.
Do you know what it sounds like then? That song? This is
Yeah,
okay. So that was the one in particular I was thinking about because it's, I guess, spoilers for the three people who haven't seen this movie at this point, I guess. But
including me.
um, that's the big heroic comeback. It's like the last big song of the movie.
Yeah, it seems like the climax
Yeah,
song for sure. It's that like
yeah,
right after the montage of being in the world of self-doubt and
mhm,
imposter syndrome basically because I'm sure it follows that kind of pattern of like, oh,
yeah.
we're best friends and oh, there's a fallout or something bad happens and then there's a little bit of like
I'm,
growth that happens and then here's that song.
I'm trying to
um
pull up the lyrics on my phone. I just want to read like three lines that made me think about kind of you and this like kind of mission.
is it the
Uh,
one that says I'm done hiding, now I'm shining,
no,
where I'm
that's
supposed to
golden
be?
still. This is
You're like,
uh,
that's the song still, but it's
that's
not
the
those
other one.
lyrics.
Yeah, no, it's I broke into a million pieces and I can't go back. But now I see the beauty in the broken glass. The scars are part of me, darkness and harmony. My voice without the lies. This is what it sounds like,
Aw.
right? And I think that's kind of what I think you
Don't
and
make
many
me
of
get
us
all
are.
teary-eyed in the middle.
I
I'm
know. I
so
told you
glad
this
we're
would be
not
a fun
doing video
episode, but
yet.
maybe I was the one who made it a cry. But no, yeah. So I mean, I think just that kind of mission, like we were saying, yeah, we're like in this like I don't know job apocalypse or whatever. Like,
I feel like
um,
every day more people are posting, "Hey, I've got the green banner," and like
lost my job or it's been a
I'm working
year. I
in
get those ones.
I
The
work in freelance, and I will tell you, like right now, even in the freelance sphere, at least what I'm dealing with, it's still difficult, like crickets. You know, like I recently just did an interview, gave them like a 10-page document that outlined like game plans and stuff. Haven't
yeah.
heard back.
Oh no.
Haven't heard back. And that, you know, that happens.
Yeah.
Whatever. If it works out, great, because I was actually really excited about that project.
Yeah.
But it's like that is one out of like five that I'm still waiting to hear back from.
I
And I
it's
guarantee you I probably won't hear from most of them. If I hear back from one of them, I'll be like, when, even if it's a no, because
yeah.
like this year, like many other people, I might not be doing applications, I'm doing proposals, but I've put through so many proposals that just never get a response or
Yeah.
um or they're like, oh, so sorry, like we're expecting somebody that's got 15 and a half years worth of experience in AI, so you don't fit the bill.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw that once. I saw a freaking
15 is that's
advertisement for, they were like looking for a unicorn with 15 plus years experience in AI. And I was like, we
that's
had AI
always
in 2010?
I would say that's always been a long joke. I feel like in tech is that you're right, is that because we always measure everything in number of years, but technology moves so fast. I've seen that many times. They're like, you need 20
I'm not
years
an
in a
expert in
5-year
AI.
old technology. And I've
I'm not
seen
an
like,
expert in AI whatsoever, but I've had people that actually like work with ChatGPT more than me be like, wait, how did you get ChatGPT to do that?
yeah.
And I go, because I beat it into fucking submission because I'm stubborn.
I've
Like when I
yeah.
create art with AI, like if I'm telling it to do art, I've got it to the point now where I can tell it an idea and I'll go, write your own image prompt. And
Wow.
it will write its own image prompt now because like I have beat it
That's
into such submission that I'm like, this is my general idea, write an image prompt, let me go from there. And then I'll tweak the image prompts so that I don't have to write out the whole image prompt. Um, because like all of the thumbnails for the podcast, spoiler alert, AI,
yeah.
one man show. Um, when this
You
becomes
have that
something that,
purple
yeah,
retro gaming meets Stranger Things aesthetic. Like you have like I could see one of
it's
yours,
a
even if
very
you blurred
80s
the
vibe.
face. If I saw your, picture for it, and this is a good thing. I know, like just I would know even if I scrolled past the name, I'd be like, oh,
You'd be
that
like,
was a
oh, that's
Danny.
Danny's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one else in mind does that. There's this kind of allude to her before. I
I
think her name is Ang Bean. If you follow her, she's like
yes, that's who I was talking about.
okay, yeah, yeah. She I know she has these ones that almost look like fairy meets Dark
Pixelated.
Souls. Like it'll
Yeah,
be like
she's
a
got like
knight
the
with black
pixelated
horns.
bows and stuff.
Well, that, but she'll have the ones, yeah, where it's like maybe like a knight in black armor, but then there'll be like a little splash of color, and then like kind
Hmm.
of an absurd, like like the like what is that? Like the nightmares persist, but so do I kind of humor.
Yeah.
But you're right, same thing where I could see the picture and I go, boom, I know who that is. Like,
Yeah. Um, I got that feedback from Crystal Pratt. Is actually another guest on the podcast. That's the one that'll come out next week.
okay,
Um,
I haven't seen that yet. Yeah, because
yeah, it'll come out next week. But I got that feedback from her like way in the beginning of my journey on LinkedIn. I think it was like February. So I was like on the platform for maybe 5, 6 weeks at this point. And at that point, I was making my own GIFs in Canva, like
yeah,
like the motivational quote cards where like you're giving value.
yeah,
I'd see all of those and they were all just still and very static and boring. And so I was like, how do I make this better? And so I did that, but then I would make a GIF where there would be like a galaxy moving behind it type deal.
nice.
And so that's how I started on LinkedIn was all of my images were moving images to start, which was a pain in the ass because LinkedIn, as we know, is a platform that likes to talk about how great it is, but it is not
Yeah,
user friendly. Those GIFs would take 5 to 10 minutes to upload.
wow, and it's not create, just hitting the upload button and
Just
watching
hitting
it.
the upload button, 5 to 10 minutes for it to actually post onto the platform. Um, for an 8-second video, because technically it would show up as a
Video,
like
not
it
GIF.
showed up as a video in my uploading process. It'd be like uploading video, but then it was a GIF when it was uploaded.
Yeah,
And it's like the same problem I'm having with actual video on LinkedIn. Yesterday I posted the video and it didn't go. And I was like, well, that's weird. So I tried it again. 3 hours later, I had 4 of the same video.
oh no, I've done that in text messages before where it goes, it didn't send, and you hit the resend button, and then I don't know, either my wife or my mother, whoever I'm talking to, will send me like, why did
Yeah,
you send me that thing over and over? Like,
and like I
my
cleaned it
phone
up,
said it
I
didn't
got rid
work.
of I got rid of the extra
Yeah,
ones, but like one of the extra ones actually started to pull engagement and comments. And I was like, well, I'm not going to fucking delete this one. I
yeah,
guess they're going to be like, Danny posted the same video twice. Oh, well, it's
I
good
know.
information. It
Yeah.
was talking about how I grew organically, like what my organic engagement strategy looked like. And it was so anybody that would comment or like my content on a daily basis in the beginning, I would go to their page. So like say you liked my image that day, I'd go to your profile, I'd copy and paste your link, put it in a Google spreadsheet, put your name next to it. The next day, I would pull up that spreadsheet. I would go to every single person on that spreadsheet and interact with the last one or two posts that they made. I would then
Okay.
go into click on comments and I would interact with at least 5 comments that they made on other people's posts. This can absolutely be done on an organic level with a spreadsheet, same idea. Maybe you're not going to like 6,000 posts a day, but if you liked 60, that's still 60 people that are going to see your face pop up in their notifications.
Yeah.
And so I built from 0 to about, we're close to 1,800 now in about 9 months, 100% organically, and not having to like kill myself either. Like, I don't spend a lot of time on the internet. I do, but I don't spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, right? Like,
Okay.
I'm like right now, I've got one post out. I can see I've got like 12 notifications, but when me and you are done, I've got a 30-minute break before I have another hour and a half recording session. I'm
Wow.
not going to be on LinkedIn very much today, but my numbers will not hurt because of it.
Yeah.
Because when I do go to do my LinkedIn time, I've got that spreadsheet and I can probably in an hour get through about 60 people.
So I had this kind of a funny segue. I don't know if you ever had to use Yammer. I don't even know if it's still out there in the world, but it
I've heard of
was
it.
Yammer is basically also LinkedIn, but it was internal. It was this,
Okay.
we had it at my old job. And it was an in-house social network. And they were trying to get us to use it more because it was funny. It was, I think some people had gotten one in like for the company, but not in the official capacity. And they were using it pretty actively. Then it got pulled in, and I feel like it was almost like, oh, it's not cool anymore. We're not going to
It's not
use it.
cool. We're not going to use this
But
anymore.
but anyway, I had somebody where it was my boss at the time. Good guy. We're still connected on social media, but I actually had written a Power Automate script that said whenever he posts, it was almost like D&D, roll some dice. It was like pick a number from 0 to 6, pick a number from 0 to 60, pick another number from 0 to 60. That many hours, minutes, seconds, you're going to pause and then you're going to like whatever he posted.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
didn't want to be
Absolutely.
immediate. If it was like every time he posts, just the thumbs up shows up, it's a little suspicious. But yeah, so what I did was I had it like could be 5.5 hours, could be 20 minutes. Like,
Yeah. The algorithm on LinkedIn is just the weirdest.
yes.
The weirdest. Like everybody totes like, oh my goodness, make sure you're posting live. Don't schedule your post. It's gonna hurt your reach. Do you want to know
Yeah,
what hurts my reach more?
not posting.
Posting live.
Really? I don't know
Yeah.
the rule there. The
I
only
trained,
one.
I think it's user by user. And so because
Okay.
I started scheduling posts from the beginning, if I live post now, crickets. But if
Wow.
I schedule it in advance, it's like the algorithm knows. It's like, oh, hey, Danny's consistent. Look at that. He's already scheduled out for the whole month of October.
Yeah.
Make sure people see this. But like last week when everything happened, I deleted everything that I had for the 10th, the 11th, the 12th.
Okay.
I was like, delete a whole week's worth of social content. Just
Something
the
cool.
one of the reasons that I do this in advance is because I have learned from several years of working in this industry and working for clients and big, big names that like something that you scheduled a month ago can fuck you over because of what happened in the world,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So I deleted everything that I had planned and I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a post tomorrow, something about September 11th, because I'm sorry, I watched that happen. I still didn't forget.
Jumping back to the
Um,
CIO post, though. Yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah, I know exactly where I
I don't
was.
want to be one of those people, but I find it sad that like 24 years later, like on my Facebook and even on LinkedIn, like I barely saw anybody talking about it. I barely saw anybody say anything about it. And it's like thousands of people died. This is not a situation where like we should continue on like business as usual, in my opinion. Like, if you don't want to do a memorial post, saying absolutely nothing is fine too. But I just don't think it's another day of like, hey, can I pitch slap you my SaaS product?
Right. actually keep throwing business social networks at you because oh my gosh, there are so many of them. I'm realizing. I feel like
So
the joke
many.
from I feel like that joke from 30 Rock about there's so many ways to ignore a girl now.
So many.
But
But yeah, I deleted everything and then I live posted the morning of the 11th
mhm,
and I went offline because at the end of it I was like, look, I'm not even going to be on today. I don't know if I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm going to take some time because like I didn't even have the opportunity to like shelter myself from that incident. Like I was scrolling on LinkedIn of all places,
mhm.
had not gotten the news yet.
And that's how you find out. It's funny, yeah.
I saw the
Network
video.
is often, yeah, social networks are often how I find out major
I saw the
news
video. I'm
stories.
just like scrolling through LinkedIn, doing my job, going about my day. And it was such a, and you know, they play automatically on the
Yeah,
computer. They play automatically
I've
on your
seen people
computer
now
with
say just
sound.
like I've seen posts that are just, hey, here's the settings to turn off autoplay. I've seen that on multiple networks because of things
Yeah.
like this.
That was just like, I had no clue, just
Yeah,
completely oblivious to it. And before I knew it, I was like, wow, that was traumatizing. And I
yeah.
called my partner and I told him, and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I think so. But like, I didn't sleep well that night. I
I
didn't sleep well
I
for the
can
next
yeah.
couple of nights. And it wasn't like I know this person, I'm mourning this situation. It was just I was brutally assaulted with seeing something that I should have never
A
seen.
human
Because
being's death, yeah, that you shouldn't be confronted.
welcome to the internet. We are consuming shit that we should have never seen at
Yeah.
such a high rate.
Hmm.
You know, like without, I'm gonna segue off to a post that I made. God, beginning of summer, Josh and I went out to the beaches, which is quite a little drive. And I was wearing a T-shirt that has like a skeleton, like it's all rainbow, and skeleton's like taking a selfie, and it says "Social media was a mistake."
Yeah, I like that one actually.
And
That's
in the comment section of that, I had several people that follow me that were like, "Do you really feel like social media was a mistake?" I absolutely fucking do. I know it's what I do for work. I know it's how I make my living. But I
I
also feel like if
I
social
can
media
relate.
never existed, the world would be a much better place.
I agree. I was gonna say, yeah, just my segue was with the other networks, there was this thing called Fishbowl. I think it's now part of Glassdoor, and it was
Glassdoor, yeah.
the anonymous network or whatever. So I was a
In
member
my
of
world,
that.
the anonymous network is Grinder.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, I was gonna say the yeah, so it was supposed to be anonymous. I don't know. I feel like it's already been leaked at least once, but I was a lurker, I guess they call it. I
Hmm.
would read it. There were periods where I would read that multiple times a day just to see if there was a new post.
I'm a
And it was
lurker on LinkedIn Lunatics.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. You've mentioned that on a few. I wasn't sure to mention that or not because I know I've seen people say like just and my relationship with that site has changed a little because you're right. I originally was on there. Um, I want to get to that. I just want to tell you real quick. So the Glassdoor was anonymous, but after you started to read it for a while, I think I sent my department something that wasn't at the company. Like I was like marine biology at an office. That was like my division. So you could just say somebody in, HR, somebody in marine biology. There would be another marine biology, and I think I figured out at some point that it was obviously like when the network was dead that Fishbowl would throw posts in. So we were like so dead that I would say once every day or two. And you can see, 'cause they were very obvious engagement baits. And it
Yeah.
was funny because we had just had a big like layoff. And I remember you could tell because I think somebody did post the like, wow, I lost my job, or, wow, 200 people got let go today. And then you had this one come in that was like, anybody looking for a house right now? Like it was like, what's the real estate market looking like? You could tell it was a
This
can,
is random.
and because it's anonymous, like they couldn't make a fake profile. I could just say someone in, and I think I figured out, because I changed my department at some point, that the department went with mine too. So if I said I was in HR, it was HR. So when I was marine biology or whatever, it was a marine biologist too. What are the odds? But
What are the odds?
yeah, but it was just the anonymous can stuff going. And you're right, it was the same thing. It was obviously smaller scale, so it didn't know the day-to-days of what was going on at the company. But these anonymous prompts to try to get engagement out of people um, would happen. And it was, oh gosh, there's something else I was going to jump off of, and I forget what it was. But anyway, yeah,
I'm a firm believer that if it was in your brain and then you lost it, it was never meant to
it was
be.
never meant to be. Yeah.
never meant to be. Or sometimes when I'm like mid-sentence and like I lose it, I'm like, nope, I wasn't supposed to say that to you.
Must have been, yeah.
Like that's the ancestors being like, no, child, don't trust them with that information.
Okay, cool.
So,
I have I will admit again, just kind of behind the scenes, I have um the heating and air guy. I got the text that he's going to be here between, and within 30 minutes, but I know
oh
we're
no,
kind of
you're
wrapping.
good.
So
You're
yeah.
good. You're absolutely fine. So Chris, let's get to the spiral section. This is
Yes.
where we can get slightly emotionally unwell, but funny. You said that you worry about running out of content, that the
Yes.
algorithm will bury you if you strike out too often.
Yep.
Honestly,
Another secret
same.
wrestling term thrown in there. Um,
Same. I kind of feel like I'm one flop away from LinkedIn putting me in like
yes.
the digital Hunger Games.
Yeah, what is that? There's the phrase, was it shadow ban? I forget if I put it in my
Hmm.
intake form, but I kind of nicknamed it in my head the shadow dud. Like the
Yeah.
idea that, like, right, if I like whenever I get one that just like strikes out, it's like, and I love how you get the notification that's like, you didn't get likes, but you got, it's like, hey, notification, you got 20 impressions. But yeah,
Yeah.
that yeah, like if I don't know, I have this like in my head just this fear that like if I whiff 3 times in a row, that I'm just gonna kind of go to this sort of LinkedIn jail where it's like, oh, he can post, but we're not gonna show it to people because it
Oh,
sucks.
no.
Like
Yeah, and I think LinkedIn has just gone through so many iterations of their algorithm this year, trying to combat things like engagement pods or AI engagement farming, like liking content at a high rate, like we were talking about earlier.
yeah,
That they've gone through so much throttling that, like, across the board, like, even big names are like, hey, I would post something like this last month and it would get 1 million impressions. Now it's getting 1,000. What the fuck? And so I think what they've done is they have purposely throttled reach for everybody across the board
okay,
so that they can determine the outliers, right? So, like, let's say, hypothetically speaking, you and I both have 1,000 followers. Okay. We're both technically getting 20 impressions per post, but you get 1 like and I've got 100. Who's more likely to be engagement farming?
right,
And so I think that's what they're doing to try to crack down on it, determine who is actually breaking the rules. Because I've also seen a lot of people getting kicked off of the platform.
oh wow, yeah,
You know, like
I promise I'm playing by the rules. I just
I
I think I
mentioned,
don't.
was removed from the platform for the reasons I have no idea. I'm not LinkedIn, but they were removed from the platform. Um, I've I can't say that all of these people were removed from the platform, but like when you look at your cumulative growth for the year, I should be somewhere about 4,000 followers,
Oh wow,
but I'm sitting at 1,750 something. Granted, yes, I am one of those personalities that I'm sure somebody could have followed me in the next day and been like, fuck this dude, he's crazy. But I do also believe a large portion of those were people that were removed from the platform for inactivity or for community standards purposes. Like
got it.
I did have a couple of people that were on my watch list of this is most likely a bot.
Hmm.
So I'm sure some of those people were removed for that reason. But yeah, I feel the same way about shadow banning. Um, I think it's weird what they'll shadow ban you for. Like, it's crazy to think that somebody can come into my comments and talk about like, oh, hey, I hope you die of AIDS and only gay people get AIDS, and then start moving into racism. And they're still on the platform. But I know of a couple of people that would speak out on like women's issues
And they
or
will.
just world issues in general, and they've been removed from the platform and or silenced.
I just know the only rule I know is that you're not supposed to repost with thoughts. I feel like that's the first. I know that when I do that,
I break the rules all the time. They also say you're not supposed to use links.
oh
I
yeah,
post
yeah, you put them
all
in
the
the
time.
comments or something. You're not supposed to, because you're right. I think I had one. Oh gosh, it was a D&D one, and I wanted to use an image. I found a picture of these, like, I think it was, I think I might have been doing, I could tell you the topic was using randomized numbers. It was in March, so I wanted it to be also like a little bit St. Patrick's Day themed. So
Mhm.
I found a picture of D&D dice that somebody had made that were green and white St. Patrick themed. And you're right, because I was using someone's image and it was from like, I don't know if it was Etsy or somewhere, I felt like, like the right thing to do was, if I'm going to use this image, say, by the
Credit.
way, this lady made them, here's her shop. I never
Right.
even talked to the person. I just figured, it was better to say, if you like this, look
Better
at this
safe
book,
than
you made
sorry.
it,
Yeah.
than to just use the image and not say anything. But I'm sure, again, it was a kind of a dud. I suspect I would have gotten more in impressions if I had not done that, but I still felt like, I wanted to do the right thing.
Yeah. Honestly, doing the right thing is more important. In that regards, always credit that person. But yeah, I would have moved that to the comment section. I personally, for my personal brand, my clients, it's different. Like I follow all the rules for clients, but with my
Yeah.
personal brand, that's where I'm like, this is my playground to break the rules, because the best way to continue to innovate is to go, okay, so here's the rules, but how do I work within that confine, but
Yeah.
also like the links thing, I found that if I share links and I'm like, please don't click this link, you don't want to,
They're
it does well. Or if I go with like very rebellious
that with
kind of
the aura
copy that's
farm.
like, hey, LinkedIn says you shouldn't do this, but LinkedIn's not my daddy, that goes well.
Yeah.
But if I'm just like, hey, new podcast dropped, here's the link, crickets.
Yeah. I've noticed that you do that. You put the image and then you put it in the comments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm working on getting a link tree for everything. And I might go back to LinkedIn Premium so that I can have the link on my page.
No, I am purposely putting that off as long as I can. Premium. I don't think I'm ever gonna go
It's
premium.
it really isn't. I'm not gonna lie, it's not. Um, because the level of information.
Demon Hunter costs you money.
I think like the coolest thing about it is that you can see like what your social selling index looks like where you're ranked on LinkedIn for your
Yeah,
niche.
you had
Cool.
mentioned that earlier. Like, I'm in the top
But you
2%.
can
I ask you, how do you know that?
get that kind of stuff on Fave Icon too, though. Like, so I use Fave Icon. It's FAVIKON.
Right, not
They've
now.
got they've got a plugin and everything for Google Chrome that if you just go to LinkedIn, like I could probably see where you're at right
Oh,
now.
cool.
1 second. Let me go to your page and pull up my plugin. Let's see what it
Centos.
says about Chris. You may or may not be on. Okay, I think you've got enough followers. You've got to be over 1,000.
Yes, I'm in the 1200s, which again is a personal first.
Cooking up a profile for you usually takes 1 minute max. So it's it's collecting the data on you.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, they've got an add-on that you can get for you. Let's see, top 37% in the United States for your niche.
Okay. Top like third-ish. Nice.
Usually posts 3 times a week at 8 a.m.
Yes, 8:30 on Mondays. If anybody's, I always schedule for that.
Yeah. So, and they have you listed under IT and tech. They've got you listed as a growing creator in this space. So they rank us on a scale of 1 to 10. You're listed as a growing creator, which is rank 9, which is a good place to be for somebody that's just starting out.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I started with the origin story I told you. That was October of 2023, I think. So
Yeah.
going on 2 years. Although it was funny, just one other little side note was with the company stuff, they have that life section. If you ever go to a company, and it was funny because it would be like officer, mid-level, independent contributor. Just be like, here's all the brass and this guy.
So one last question.
Yes.
What is your most feral thought when drafting a post? Because mine was once, should I compare community management to a Taco Bell menu item?
Okay. I can't. Nothing's immediately coming to mind. I mean, there have been those days where like I've been sitting there doing something. A lot of times it's based on just my real life stuff. Like the one that's coming out this coming Monday is the topic I was working on. And sometimes it's just the thing that interests me in the moment. I guess that's kind of just thing in front of me is what I'm working with. So like another one I do with gaming is I like the Monster Hunter series.
Mm-hmm.
but I've been playing something called Elden Ring recently, if you've heard
Oh,
of
I
that.
love
It's
that.
and I definitely have this one random just uh it's Elden Ring theme this week, and I like the game, but I wouldn't want that one tied to my brand as much. You might get this, but like it's an M game versus a T for teen game. Like with like the Marvel stuff. Like I generally stay in the PG-13 realm. Like
Hmm.
I don't watch it week to week, but like it'd be very unlikely for me to use like The Boys on Amazon just because it's that more
Right.
graphic, more. And that was kind of like what it was with Elden Ring. Was again, it's an M game and there's some dark concepts in it, but everything I was doing was just like I think character development and things like that.
Right.
And actually, it was funny because I have this tagline which I use sporadically, and it's build with intelligence, work with wisdom,
Oh, I
and
like
it's
that.
based on the idea of like D&D, the stat scaling. Like when you cast this kind of spell, you're using your intelligence score, and this one uses your wisdom score. So in Elden Ring, they have that. They have strength, dexterity. Are you fast? Are you strong? Are you Well, they use intelligence and faith are the spell
Okay.
casting, and to a lesser extent, one called arcane. But because I was building on, that's right. The topic was that I built like a spellcaster, and at the beginning of the game was hard, but once I got into it, like I built and I got better, and how that kind of works into like learning something new in work or life.
Hmm.
Well, they don't use wisdom; they use that word faith. So as kind of like a joke at the end, I wrote, "Build with intelligence, work with dot 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 faith, just this once."
I love that. Well, Chris, thank you for spiraling with me today.
It's
Um,
my pleasure.
Everyone that's listening, make sure that you follow Chris on LinkedIn before the algorithm buries him alive. I'll make sure to put his link in the description below. He is mixing tech, storytelling, and a little bit of chaos. And honestly, that's my love language.
Hmm.
So, as always, follow me unless you're a hater, in which case, go ahead and follow me twice. Drop
Right.
a review, send this episode to a friend who posts like a C suite crybaby, and buy my merch because capitalism demands it, and I absolutely need my validation in the form of a hoodie. Love your faces.